A robust Jewish education is the most important thing we as parents do for our children, and teachers and rabbis do for our students and congregants. Today, I'd like to share two pieces of perspective that our Parsha V'Eschanan gives us about this most sacred task. The first is from the well-known portion that we say 4 times a day, the Shema. The Torah says, V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam. You shall teach it to your children, as Rashi says, also students, and you should study on your own. But the order of the passage seems incorrect. Shouldn't it be the other way around? First you study on your own, v'dibarta bam, and then you could teach others. There is an incredibly valuable and important lesson here. How do you effectively teach others? How can there truly be v'shinantam levanecha? By first doing it yourself, by you being the example. If you will constantly talk about Torah, b'shivtecha b'veisecha, u'v'lechtecha v'derech, u'b'shachbecha uvkumecha, at home, on the road, before you retire and as you awaken, then you can be sure your children, your students, and your congregants will follow. If it is meaningful to you, you will successfully impart it. A mother came with her young son to the famous Dr. Freud and asked him, Professor, when do I start educating my son? Freud looked at her and asked, how old is your son? The mother answered, 5 years old. Dr. Freud responded, Madam, you are 5 years too late. This story brings us to the second point I'd like to discuss. There's another verse in our portion that we're very familiar with from the Passover Haggadah. V'haya ki yishalcha bincha mocher leimer, which literally means, and it will pass, that your child will ask you tomorrow. However, Rashi, based on the Talmud, interprets mocher not as tomorrow, but as la'achar zman, in the future. The question is, why take a passage out of its simple meaning? Mocher is mocher, it's tomorrow, not later. I believe that Rashi, in interpreting mocher not as tomorrow, but as much later, is communicating to us an amazing insight about education. Sometimes we, the parents, the teacher, the rabbi, act as wonderful role models, but we don't see results right away. We don't see the full-grown, fruit-bearing tree tomorrow, and we become very disheartened. Says the Torah to us, don't worry if you don't see results tomorrow. It takes patience and time, but it will surely come. Eventually the child, the student, the congregant will happily and instinctively follow in your ways and ask all the right questions and go down the right road. Wishing you and yours a Shabbat Shalom u'mevarach.